Tonight at 6, a major blow to Georgia Republicans and pro-life advocates.
Today, a judge overturned the state's new abortion ban. It's been in effect since July and prohibits most abortions once a fetal heartbeat is detected, which can be as early as 6 weeks into gestation.
So today, a Fulton County Superior Court judge ruled the ban is unconstitutional, but the Attorney General's office swiftly filed an appeal, which means this fight is not over just yet. In his ruling today, Fulton County Superior Court Judge Robert McBurney says the ban is unconstitutional. That's because Governor Brian Kemp signed the bill into law in 2019, 2 years before the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. In order for the law to be valid, Judge McBurney says it would have to be passed after the Supreme Court ruling. Georgia State Law professor Anthony Michael Crease explains this means that the law is effectively overturned immediately statewide.
What Judge McBurney has said today is we don't need to resolve those privacy-related questions because the General Assembly has to pass a new abortion law now that is lawful under the federal Constitution for the state to act in the way that it did. And so essentially, we've just wiped the slate and we're all starting over from square one.
So that was Attorney Christ speaking there. So the Georgia Supreme Court may have the final say on what happens next, but people from both sides of the issue are speaking out tonight.
We are hearing from pro-choice and pro-life advocates about what they believe this could mean for Georgia. We have team coverage tonight on this breaking update. Latasha Givens will have reaction from pro-life advocates, but we begin with Bobeth Yates with the pro-choice reaction to the ban being overturned. Bobeth?
Well, pro-choice advocates are not just celebrating this ruling, but they say it's the correct decision because it once again gives women access to the care they need. Now, State Representative Shay Roberts was among those who advocated for the new law to be repealed. And she says today she and other pro-choice advocates are happy that women will no longer have to travel out of state for an abortion if they are past that 6 weeks mark. And she shares her personal abortion story with us.
I made the decision under the recommendation of my doctor because I had small kids at home. They said, don't put that stress on your body for something that isn't going to survive. And so I made that really heartbreaking decision. And the fact that my daughters and all of our daughters could not make those same healthcare decisions, especially when a doctor recommended it to me, put them in danger. And we're already, we have the highest maternal mortality rate in the country. And it disproportionately impacts women of color. So this was not helping anything. This was just making it more.
Now, I also spoke to representatives from Planned Parenthood, one of the plaintiffs in this lawsuit. They tell me their legal team are already preparing for the state's appeal on this decision.
All right, Bobeth, now let's get over to Latasha Givens live at the Georgia Right to Life office as she looks into reaction from pro-life organizations. Latasha?
Well, Jennifer, I spoke to the executive director and other pro-life organizations, and they tell me they are shocked the state's heartbeat law was overturned. Now, many of these organizations say they've spent decades fighting for the rights of unborn babies. And when the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, they felt like all that work over the years was validated. Now, some of them feel like they have to start all over. But the executive director here says today's decision won't stop their efforts to have an all-out ban in the state by amending the state constitution.
We are actually asking for an amendment that bestows the right to life. It actually recognizes that right to life on the preborn child at the moment of fertilization.
And that would go a step further than the heartbeat bill. Now, officials here tell us this does have the support of some legislators. We'll continue to follow this angle of the story. Live in Gwinnett County, I'm Latasha Givens, 11 Alive News.
I think this is a temporary roadblock, and candidly, I don't think it's something folks need to be distracted from too much, other than the fact that all the benefits of the Life Act are now temporarily delayed.
Those words from the man who wrote the original abortion legislation back in 2019. Representative Ed Setzler tells us that he believes Georgia should do going forward. And that's tonight, coming up on 11 Alive News at 11.